Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I want to do another episode of New Tackle and Trends. And you're not going to want to miss this one because this is something that's kind of been going on tour, and a lot of guys are using it with great success. But before I get right into it, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and then drop a comment down below because I'd love to hear from you. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. So this is a tackle trend that's happening on tour that I think is just kind of developed over the last couple of years, or I'm seeing it more and more with the guys on tour. It's a tackle trend or a rigging setup that happens to do with the drop shot. I've been talking a lot about the drop shot, but you're gonna wanna see this one. Pretty cool setup in my opinion. So generally, you either fish a drop shot with a nose hook or Texas rigged, just like that. And with the Texas rig, this is great for fishing around cover. But when you're fishing Highland impoundments or the Great Lakes for smallmouth or something like that, you don't necessarily need to have it Texas rigged. And having that hook exposed can be a much better way to go. So that's when guys use the traditional nose hook. That's kind of what we've done for years. But what's happening, a trend that guys are doing, is rigging their hooks like that. It's a pretty slick setup. And the hook that guys are using to kind of keep it in place is that owner cover shot. And you could use anything from like a size 2 to a size 2/0, depending upon the size of the bait and what you want your bait to look like. If you want it to be real stealthy, you might use a size 2. If you want it, if you don't think if they're biting really well, you may just use a 1/0 or 2/0. But the cool thing about that hook, or the reason I think a lot of guys are using that hook, is because of that little bait keeper right there. That little bait keeper is keeping the bait from sliding down the shank of the hook. So just like that, see? And I'm gonna go ahead and rig one up so you can kind of see what I mean and how I rig it and utilize it whenever you're fishing some lakes like Table Rock Lake, or maybe you're drop shotting on like a Lake Travis in Texas, or maybe even you're drop shotting out on the Tennessee River lakes like Kentucky Lake or Pickwick or stuff like that, where traditionally you're talking about a hard bottom and rocks and stuff like that. So I've got my drop shot rigged up, and what you do is, say this is my drop shot bait, and what you're gonna do is basically thread the whole bait on there. So what I like to do is kind of get an idea of where you want that to go. So then once you line it up and get an idea, you basically are just gonna thread it on like you would, say, a grub on a jig head. Big key, in my opinion, getting it straight, getting that bad boy straight on there. I think that's about where. So in case you didn't see that, I'm kind of just running that as straight as possible. Slide that up over that worm keeper, the little bait keeper right there, boom. And then what you want is to kind of leave that open. You don't want to slide that bait over top of the actual eye and the knot. You just want to leave it like that, and that keeper will hold that bait in place. See that? And why guys are doing this is because when you're fishing an open hook or a nose hook, a lot of times with smallmouths and spotted bass, they will come up and grab all the way, they'll take the whole bait right up to the hook and not get the hook in their mouth. So by threading this hook on here, you can actually position the point of the hook further down the bait. Then it presents the opportunity where the fish can eat the entire bait and get the hook point. I can't tell you how many times I've fished for smallmouths and spotted bass, and they'll just eat it right up to there on a nose hook type presentation. But by positioning that hook point further down the bait, you can get some of those what we call short biters to take the whole thing, or at least to take the part where the point can get them. So that's it for this episode of New Tackle and Trends. This is the trend that I think you're gonna see happen more often in areas that are devoid of cover, or more of a rocky or sand or gravelly bottom where having a bait Texas rig isn't such a important thing. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. I hope you like this new tackle and trends playlist that I'm putting together. This is episode 3. Thanks for watching, and until next time, good fishing.